Science is good, right? It's responsible for food, medicine, aviation, transport, building, just about everything in our lives. So why are we still debating climate change science? Here's why. In 1978, Exxon's own scientists informed them of the scientific consensus that CO2 caused the greenhouse effect, and fossil fuel burning would cause disruptive climate change. Like the tobacco industry in the 50s and 60s, who knew from internal research the health consequences of smoking well before it became an accepted fact.
Now that I'm gone, I tell you, don't smoke. Whatever you do, just don't smoke.
This didn't stop the tobacco industry executives from carrying on business as usual. In a radical effort to protect their product, cigarette companies launched a massive misinformation campaign which delayed life-saving science and probably cost the lives of millions of people. The worst part of that story is that today, the exact same strategies have been used by the fossil fuel industry. They are even using the same strategists. I mean, why not use a tried and tested plan to deceive the world from the truth? Billions of dollars of profits were at stake. They had to do something. Except the difference? This time it's the planet that is at risk, not just individual lives. But hey, money before people. It seems money is more important than the survival of the irreplaceable ecosystem that supports the lives of billions of people. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are carbon-rich deposits created by the fossilization of organisms millions of years ago. They are now extracted mainly as gas, oil and coal and burned for energy. They can't be renewed and currently supply about 80% of the world's energy. They are also used in the manufacture of plastic, steel and many other products. Why is it important to reduce the production and consumption of fossil fuels? When fossil fuels are burned, they release large amounts of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gases trap heat in our atmosphere, causing global warming. Already, the average global temperature has increased by 1 degree C. Warming above 1.5 degrees C risks rising sea levels, extreme weather, biodiversity and species extinction, as well as food scarcity, worsening health and poverty for millions of people worldwide. How did they do it? How did the fossil fuel industry deceive the world? After Exxon's own scientists confirmed that carbon emissions were indeed warming our planet, this is when the whole thing started. Realising that this would be highly detrimental to their business, ExxonMobil began pushing forward a multi-million-dollar misinformation campaign to cast doubt on well-established science. Exxon might have been the pioneer denier, but they soon had friends. Through the 1980s and 1990s, many other corporations joined this war against science. At a 1980 American Petroleum Institute meeting, representatives from companies including Exxon, Texaco and Shell concluded that as a likely impact, by 2005 we would see 1 degree Celsius of warming. They also concluded by 2038 we would see 2.5 degrees of warming causing major economic consequences, and that by 2067 we would face a 5 degree rise with globally catastrophic effects. Did this stop them and make them change their business model? Of course not. Profits are king. So, in spite of knowing that their businesses were setting the planet on a trajectory towards disaster, for every action the world took to address the crisis, they constantly strove for new ways to cloud the truth, and they still do today. How did the fossil fuel industry lie to the world? The idea under the fossil fuel industry strategy is, you don't have to win the argument, just create uncertainty and confusion. The industry began attacking the facts, creating an alternative universe where decades of rising CO2 and rising temperatures had nothing to do with each other, and scientists who claimed that we had to act were alarmists and not to be trusted. Getting enough people on board to this idea took some work. Ultimately, they created a giant gaslighting machine, that is, a lying machine. A large network of talking heads, front groups, and faux research built to persuade people we have nothing to worry about. The fossil fuel industry developed a 6-prong attack. Number 1, funding. A misinformation campaign like this requires money, and lots of it. Many of the world's most profitable companies produce oil, coal and natural gas, and so they had plenty of money to fund the disinformation program and ensure the continuing flow of their profits. Pity about the planet though. They had to sell the idea, that is, the lie, that burning fossil fuels isn't the cause of rising temperatures, even if it is. It was deception par excellence. Number 2, think tanks. They did this through faux research and white papers of anti-environmental regulation. Think tanks like the Cato Institute, the Heritage Foundation and the Heartland Institute, which are funded and often created by the fossil fuel industry, produced fake science to rationalise delayed action on climate change. The whole purpose behind many of these groups is to create scepticism among the population and lull them into a false sense of safety. Number 3, respectability. The fossil fuel industry sought to gain respectability for their anti-climate change views through scientists who deny climate change. It seems reputations can be bought. These contrarian climate scientists are a vital part of the denial machine, and the strategy has been highly successful. For most people, the notation scientist or PhD attached to an opinion is enough to give a veneer of respectability. This is in spite of the fact there is a consensus of 97% that climate science is real and the planet is changing with potential catastrophic consequences. Number 4, front groups and astroturfing. The spread of misinformation by the fossil fuel industry continues, based on this foundation of fake science. This is done discreetly through front groups and astroturfing. Astroturfing is the deceptive practice of presenting an orchestrated marketing or public relations campaign disguised as unsolicited comments from members of the public. Through op-eds, letters to newspapers and memes, astroturfers seek to influence public opinion through creating a mirage that public opinion is against climate change. This tactic gives the false illusion that far more people oppose climate solutions than actually do. The big lie continues. Number 5, greenwashing. Greenwashing is the practice of advertising or promoting small or ancillary businesses of large fossil fuel companies to give the appearance of climate change action, when in fact the core businesses are still contributing massive emissions. Companies' marketing campaigns create the impression that they are at the forefront of rapid transitioning to low carbon energy. But company marketing rarely reflects a full picture of their business strategy and investments. There are many companies that are still pushing new fossil fuel exploration projects and using greenwashing to justify calling themselves sustainable to give the appearance that they are changing in line with society's aims under the Paris Agreement goals. The deception continues. Number 6, illusions and lies. The Koch-funded think tank Heartland Institute created the NIPCC. Sounds legit, it's actually a scientist denier spin-off to imitate the world-renowned IPCC, that is, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. The Heartland Institute has no credibility, scientific or otherwise. These organisations are just extensions of the fossil fuel industry's anti-regulation agenda. It's the fossil fuel industry actively creating confusion and uncertainty to muddy the waters of climate change and undermine the science, and so allow the continuation of mining and oil companies' extraction and exploitation to make massive profits, even though they are ensuring the destruction of the livable environment on planet Earth. The fossil fuel industry believes their profits are more important than averting these disastrous consequences of their actions.
Show me the money!
The world has been denied the right to be accurately informed about climate change. just as they were denied the right to be informed about the risks of smoking. While fossil fuel companies attack science and call on politicians to resist the imposition of legislation, the effect of climate change has continued to damage Earth. Its effects are now clearly in line with predicted outcomes as extreme weather events become more prolific. Glaciers retreat at a rapid rate and the polar caps melt, causing massive ice shelves to collapse and fall into the sea. Can these massive corporations be stopped from destroying the future of our children and grandchildren in the name of profits? Can we overcome their massive deceptions and lies to instigate effective change and save our planet? The fossil fuel industry is still winning the game. New mining leases and exploration permits are still being issued by governments who are captured by donations and lobbying. They talk about climate action whilst allowing continued growth of fossil fuel production and consumption. They are two-faced. When are they going to stop? When are they going to change? It's time for people to get off the couch and fight for our planet's survival. Are you going to be an Earth warrior and fight for future generations' survival? Warriors, it's time for action. It's time to save our planet. Want to find out how you can join the fight? Like and subscribe for future videos on how you can do your part. Leave comments and let me know your thoughts and ideas, and watch this video now for more information on climate change. Thanks for watching.